Hi everybody, I'm Matt. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be working through a powerful flow today, working towards some arm balance options. You'll have an option to stop halfway through and move on to the cool down if you want to skip the last few standing flows. We're going to start in a child's pose. So big toes come to touch. Spread the knees wide, or you can keep them closer together. And just start to reach the arms out long in front of you. Hips sinking back towards the heels, and maybe resting your forehead down on the mat. Allowing the chest to maybe melt a little bit closer to the mat. Maybe wiggle the hips side to side just to get settled here. And if you haven't already, we'll start to walk the hands out nice and long in front of you. And we'll start to shift forward, bringing the shoulders over the wrists. This kind of wide-kneed, awkward tabletop position. And we'll just place the shoulders over the wrists. We'll make sure we grip the floor away strongly here, planting through the four corners of the palms, pointing the biceps forward, triceps back. And then we'll keep all that activity with the hands, and then we'll rock the hips back towards the heels. And then shift back forward. Shoulders over the wrists. And then rock back. And then rock back forward. Maybe take the shoulders a little bit further forward this time. And just take a micro bend into the elbows. Pointing those elbows straight back. And then shift the hips back. And then shift back up. Maybe a little bit bigger bend into the elbows. And then press back up. Press the hips back. Flowing this back and forth. Maybe starting to find a deeper bend into those elbows. And then bringing the hips back. And next time you're up here, just taking a little bit of a focus in, bringing that belly button in towards the spine here, hollowing out your belly, and then continuing those rocks forward, bending the elbows maybe a little bit deeper, and then press back. Keep gripping the floor away. And then press forward. You can take this as deep as a 90-degree angle with the elbows, so squeezing those humeri in towards your ribs. And then press back. Continuing this a handful more times, forward and back, as deep as you would like to go here. So ingraining these habits of squeezing the elbows towards the ribs, of pointing the elbows straight back. This is the foundation for things like chaturanga, arm balances. Just having a nice, strong foundation. And taking 2 more rounds on your own. And then the next time the hips are back on the heels, we'll start to walk the hands in. We'll sit up nice and tall, and we'll just roll out the shoulders. You can grab a block if you have one with you. And we'll just make fists and bring the knuckles to the outside of that block, keeping the backs of the hands on the mat. And then start to straighten the arms up. So we ask a lot of our wrist extensors, kind of this side of the forearm, as we move along through these practices. Just easing out. A muscle can't stay flexed forever. And then releasing, bending the elbows, And then just roll out those wrists gently. And then we'll come to a comfortable seat. Find your sit bones. Sit up nice and tall. On your next inhale, reach your arms tall. As you exhale, twist to your left. Bring that right hand to the outside of the left knee. And reach your left fingertips back behind you. Find a twist. Next, exhale, hold the twist. Raise your left fingertips and start to tip towards your right knee. Find a nice deep side bend here. And then reach that left hand towards the right knee. Cross the arms, hollow out the belly. And then rise, roll out your shoulders. And then tip back. You can plant the hands on the ground, you can plant the toes. We're just going to play around with a little bit of a boat pose, wake up the core a little bit. So hollow out the belly, broaden the collarbones, maybe lift your feet. Maybe the shins are parallel to the mat. Hold for another breath. And then find the opposite cross of the legs, maybe the less natural way. Find your sit bones. As you inhale, raise your arms. As you exhale, twist to your right. Left hand to the outside of the right knee. Right fingertips reaching behind you. Sit up nice and tall. Keep breathing. Next, exhale, hold the twist. As you inhale, raise your right fingertips tall and start to tip your torso towards that left knee. And then turn forward. Bring your right hand to the outside of the left knee. Hollow out your belly. And then rise. Roll out your shoulders. And then we'll just bring the hands to the knees. We'll tip the upper body back. Hollow out the belly. Seated cat pose. As you inhale, tip forward. Seated cow pose, broadening the collarbones. And then tip back and forth. Taking a couple more rounds by yourself. Just working some soft flexion and extension into the spine here. And coming back up nice and tall. So I'll turn with the length of my mat. And then we'll bring the hands out in front of us. And we'll find tabletop. And we'll start to tuck the toes and lift the hips, finding downward facing dog. So pedaling out one heel at a time, swaying out the hips side to side. Whatever feels nice to you here. Finding the length in the spine here. If that requires you to have bent knees, keep bent knees in your downward facing dogs. And then we'll find some stillness in downward facing dog. Check out your hands. Are we still active? On your next inhale, raise to your tiptoes. As you exhale, start to just walk to the top of the mat. Meeting in Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, find a half lift, hands to shins, maybe hands are still on the floor. Reach the crown of the head forward. As you exhale, fold forward. As you inhale, rise to stand, reach your arms tall. And as you exhale, hands come to your heart. Taking these next couple moments to set an intention if that is part of your practice. On your next inhale, reaching the arms. As you exhale, fold forward. Inhale for a half lift. As you exhale, plant your hands, step your way back to a plank. And then we'll shift forward. Bend the elbows so you can lower your chest 1 inch. And then press up to plank. And then shift forward. Bend the elbows so you lower your chest 2 inches. And then press up to plank. And then shift forward, nice and slow, lower all the way down to your belly. Reach your arms back at your sides. Untuck your toes. We're going to do some baby locust lifts. So we're going to lift the head and shoulders. On your next inhale, we'll pull up, head and shoulders off the ground. And release. Inhale up. Exhale down. Last time here, we'll hold wherever you are for 1 breath. Turning on the back core. And then release. Hands come in to frame the ribs. Point those elbows straight back. Tuck your toes. We'll rock up through tabletop. And then downward facing dog. Pedaling out once or twice if you still want that. On your next inhale, look forward. Prepare yourself to move. As you exhale, we'll walk or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, find your half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to a stand, reach tall. Exhale, fold right back in. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to a plank. Hollowing out the belly, plugging the belly button in towards the spine. Shift forward, lower the chest 1 inch. Press up to a plank. Shift forward, lower the chest 2 inches. Press up to a plank. Shift forward, nice and slow, all the way down to your belly. Untuck your toes. Reach the arms back at the sides. You can do what we did that first time, or we can add on lifting the arms with the head and shoulders this time. Your next inhale, lift the head and shoulders and maybe the arms. Exhale, release. Inhale up. Exhale down. Last time up, hold it for a breath wherever you are. And then down. And hands frame your ribs. Tuck your toes. Tabletop. And downward facing dog. Once or twice pedaling out. Your next inhale, look forward, prepare yourself to move. As you exhale, step, hop, float, top of the mat. Inhale, find your half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand, reach your arms tall. Exhale, fold right back in. Inhale to a half lift. As you exhale, plant the hands, step back to a plank. Shift forward, lower 1 inch. Press up to a plank. Shift forward, lower 2 inches. Press up. Shift forward, nice and slow, all the way down to your belly. Untucking the toes, option. You can reach your hands forward this time, kind of like a prone full body stretch. And as we go here, you'll have the option to lift the arms and the legs. Take this as far as you would like. On your next inhale, we'll lift and lower. Up and down. Last time, hold it for a breath, whatever you've chosen. And lower. Bring the hands in to frame your ribs. Tuck the toes. Tabletop. Downward facing dog. Pedaling out. On your next inhale, look forward, prepare yourself to move. As you exhale, step, hop, float. Top of the mat. Inhale for a half lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, rise to stand, reach your arms tall. And exhale, hands come to your heart. We're going to be moving into some standing flow now. Kind of working the basis of our flows as we move along, building on options as we move along. So, take what you need, leave what you don't. If there's anything that is cued where you're not familiar with it, maybe you just watch, you rewind it, try it, or not, your choice. On your next inhale, reach the arms tall. As you exhale, fold forward. Inhale, find a half lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Work your way back through a vinyasa. And if you're jumping, finding bent elbows as you land. Finding your downward facing dog. Your next inhale, the right leg rises. As you exhale, bring your right knee to your right triceps. Inhale, extend, three-legged down dog. Exhale, right knee, right triceps. Inhale, extend. Last time, knee to nose. And step it forward. We'll plant that left palm. We'll lift that right arm. And then engage through your core, engage through the hips as you get light in this left hand and start to rise, twisting crescent. And then windmill up and around, land your left heel, find warrior two. So first time in warrior two here, just flex and extend this right knee a bit. Make sure it's pointing over those three middle toes on the right foot. Really the deepest you want to go here is a 90-degree angle. Keeping that right knee over the right heel. Finding warrior two. On your next inhale, flip your front palm, reach back, reverse your warrior. And then windmill the hands down to frame that right foot. Palm onto the left foot. Nice deep lunge here. And then you can step or float the right foot back, shift forward, find a vinyasa. Finding downward facing dog. On your next inhale, left leg rises. As you exhale, left knee, left triceps. Inhale, extend. Exhale, left knee, left triceps. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to nose. Step it forward. Plant your right palm, lift your left arm. And see if you can get nice and strong in your belly and in your hips to get nice and light in that right hand. Reach up and back, finding twisting crescent. And then windmill up and around, land your right heel, find warrior two. Once again, first time on this side that we are in warrior two. So flex and extend that left knee a bit. Check out to make sure that that left knee is pointing over the three middle toes of that left foot. We'll find a nice strong lunge in that left knee. Warrior two. On your next inhale, flip your front palm, tip up and back, reverse your warrior. And then windmill the hands down to frame that left foot, palm onto the right foot, nice deep lunge. And then you can step or maybe float the left foot as you shift forward, finding your chaturanga, up dog or cobra, and downward facing dog. On your next inhale, look forward, prepare yourself to move. As you exhale, step, hop, float, top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand, reach your arms tall. And exhale, hands come to your heart. Beautiful work. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step, hop, float back. Up dog or cobra. And downward facing dog. On your next inhale, the right leg rises. As you exhale, bring that right knee to your left tricep, crossing it underneath the body. And then extend back. And then shift forward, right knee, left triceps. And then shift back, three-legged down dog. Last time, right knee to the left triceps, kick that right foot out to the left. Plant into your right palm, reach up with the left arm. Inner left foot, planting for fallen triangle. So we're going to get a little weird here. We're going to look in front of this right leg. So about here. We're going to get our left foot from back there to up here. Okay? All right. So maybe a little bend into that left knee. Step it up and over. And then Try and get nice and balanced in that left foot. Maybe slide that right foot in, maybe float it off the ground. Plant your left hand, open up, step back, warrior two. Reverse your warrior. And then windmill the hands down, frame the left foot, step or float the left foot back, move through a vinyasa. Taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Next inhale, the left leg rises. As you exhale, left knee, right triceps. Inhale, extend. Exhale, left knee, right triceps. Inhale, extend. Last time, left knee, right triceps. Kick that left foot out to the right. Come to the inside of that right foot. Plant your left palm, reach your right arm up. Fallen triangle. You kind of know where we're going now. So we're going to bring that right foot from where it is up here. Right? So looking in front of that left leg. And starting to balance into this right foot, slide the left foot in a little bit, maybe float it off the ground. Maybe you're lifting the hands up off the ground. We'll plant into this right palm, open up to the left, and then bend into that right knee, finding warrior two. Flip your front palm, reverse your warrior, and windmill the hands down to frame that right foot. And you can step or float right foot back. Find your vinyasa. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Next, inhale, look forward, prepare yourself to move. As you exhale, step, hop, float, top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand, reach your arms tall. And exhale, hands come to your heart. Beautiful work. We're going to be moving through those flows a few more times. So, taking what you want as options and taking what you need, leaving what you don't want. As you inhale, raise your arms. As you exhale, fold forward. Inhale, find a half lift. As you exhale, plant the hands, step, hop, float back. Find your vinyasa. On your next inhale, the right leg rises. We're just going to do this once this time. We're going to bring that right knee to the right tricep. Shift forward. Keep the elbows over the wrists. Maybe take a push-up. Then press back. Three-legged down dog. Then bring that knee to your nose. Step it forward between the hands. Plant your left palm. Reach the right arm up. Get nice and light, a little bit faster this time. Twisting crescent. And then windmill around, warrior two. And then flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. And then stay in this reverse. We'll extend that right leg, reverse triangle. And then windmill the hands down to frame that right foot. You can step or float that right foot back. Find your vinyasa. Eventually meeting back in downward facing dog. Pedaling out the heels if you want that. Your next inhale, the left leg rises. Like I said, once this time. We're going to shift forward, bring that left knee to the left triceps. Maybe shift forward, keep the elbows over the wrists as you take a push-up. And then press up and back, three-legged down dog. Bring that knee to your nose, step it forward, and then plant your right palm, reach up with the left hand. Get nice and light in that right hand as you rise, twisting crescent. And then windmill up and around, find your warrior two. Flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. And then keep this reverse as you extend the left leg, reverse triangle. And then windmill the hands down to frame that left foot. Step or float it back, move through a vinyasa. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Your next inhale, look forward, prepare to move. As you exhale, step, hop, float, top of the mat. Inhale, find your half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand, reach your arms tall. And exhale, hands come to your heart. As you inhale, arms rise. As you exhale, fold forward. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step, hop, float back. Make your way back to downward facing dog, however you like. So moving through some options here with this kind of crossing the body with that right knee flow. On your next inhale, we'll lift that right leg. As you exhale, bring that right knee to your left tricep. This time, shift forward, elbows over the wrists, take a push-up. And then press back up. Three-legged down dog. And then, right knee, left tricep, kick it out to the left, plant into your right palm, inner edge of the left foot, reaching up, maybe choosing to float that right foot off the ground. If you floated it, land it. And then look in front of that right leg. Step up and over with that left foot. Little balance into that left foot, maybe bending that right knee this time. Maybe hands come to your heart. And then land your left palm, touching a half moon. Bend into your left knee. Warrior two. Reverse your warrior. And then windmill the hands down. Frame that left foot. You can float it back. Find your vinyasa. Finding downward facing dog. Taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Your next inhale, that left leg rises. As you exhale, bring the left knee to the right tricep. Maybe shift forward, keep the elbows over the wrists here. Elbows over the wrists. And then bend the elbows, maybe take a push-up. And then press back up. And then lift. Three-legged down dog. And then bring that left knee towards the right tricep. Kick it out to the right. Lift your right arm. Maybe you choose to lift that left foot off the ground. Engage through your belly. If you lifted it, lower it. Look out in front here with that right foot. Step up and over. Maybe bending that left knee this time. Bringing it a little bit closer to that right knee, balancing into the right foot. Maybe hands come to your heart. And then landing your right hand, opening up, touching this half moon. Bend into your right knee. Reverse your warrior. And windmill your hands down to frame that right foot. And then step or float it back. Move through your vinyasa. And find downward facing dog. However you want to get there. On your next inhale, look forward, prepare yourself to move. As you exhale, step, hop, float, front of the mat. Forward fold. Inhale for a half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand, reach your arms tall. And exhale, hands come to your heart. Start to heel toe the feet out towards the edges of the mat. Just rock the hips back and forth. Make sure the knees and the toes are pointed in the same direction. We'll start to bend into the knees, eventually lowering our bottoms down to a malasana. You can always sit onto a block if that suits your practice, pressing the triceps towards the adductors so you can sit up nice and tall. Finding the length in the spine, reaching the crown of the head up. Maybe a slight rock side to side. And so from here, if it is in your practice, if you would like to play around with it, we can start to unbend the knees a bit. We can start to plant the hands a little bit wider than shoulder width here. Gripping the floor away like it's a beach ball, bringing the knees to the backs of the triceps, and maybe just try shifting forward. Maybe playing around with getting the elbows over the wrists, and maybe floating one foot, the other foot, or maybe both feet. Maybe try straightening the arms if you're super strong in this, bringing the heels towards your butt. Hold for one more breath, wherever you are. And then lower. Rocking side to side in Malasana. And so that concludes the first half of this class. If you would like to fast forward to the cool down, you can feel free to do that at this time. The time of the cool down will be in the comments below. Otherwise, we're going to move along to a couple more standing flows, working into those more advanced arm balances. So we'll bring the hands towards the mat. We'll start to unbend the knees, heel toe the feet towards one another, and fold. You can take the peace fingers to the big toes, pointing the elbows straight back, maybe a little bit more leverage to pull you into a fold. Keeping a hold of those toes, inhale to a half lift, exhale to fold. Inhale, rise to stand, reach your arms tall, and exhale, hands come to your heart. Inhale, arms rise. As you exhale, fold forward. Inhale to a half lift. As you exhale, maybe you play around with crow pose, again, planting the palms. Maybe the knees comes to the triceps, and maybe floating. And then from here, maybe working this into your vinyasa, floating back into a chaturanga. Up dog or cobra, and downward facing dog. So we're going to be building options into the flows we've done a couple times already. Take what you want, leave what you don't. On your next inhale, right leg rises. As you exhale, bring that right knee to your triceps. And then maybe lean forward, maybe take a push-up, maybe keep that right knee bent, start to tip, lifting that left foot off the ground. Ekapada Kundinyasana B. And then step that left foot back. Three-legged down dog. As you exhale, bring that knee into your chest, step it forward between the hands. Plant that left palm, lift your right. Rise for a twisting crescent. Windmill up and around, warrior two. Flip your front palm, reverse your warrior, maybe a half bind this time. Keep that reverse. And then extend that right leg, reverse your triangle. This time, keeping the legs in that same position as you tip forward, tucking your right hip underneath the left, reaching as far forward as you can, before maybe landing that right hand on the shin, ankle, foot, floor, maybe a block. Reach the left arm up. Trikonasana, triangle pose. And then bend into that right knee. Windmill up and back. Reverse your warrior. And then windmill the hands down to frame that right foot. So an option here, if chin stand is in your practice, maybe working towards that as we float that right foot back, lifting it a little bit higher. And finding your vinyasa from there. On your next inhale, that left leg rises. As you exhale, bring that left knee to the left triceps. Maybe take a push-up. Maybe start to shift forward. Lift your right heel off the ground. Ekapada Kundinyasana B. And then step back. Lift the hips. Three-legged downward facing dog. Bring your knee to your chest. Step it forward. Plant your right palm, lift your left. Nice and strong with the hips and the core. Rise to a twisting crescent. And then windmill up and around. Warrior 2. Flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. Keep that reverse as you extend the left leg. Reverse triangle. Keep your legs in that shape as we start to shift forward, tucking the left hip underneath the right. Maybe that left hand lands on the shin. Ankle, foot, floor, maybe a block. Reach the right arm up. Triangle pose. Then a little bend into that left knee. Reverse your warrior. And then windmill the hands down to frame that left foot. Once again, if chin stand is in your practice, we'll plant the hands. We'll float that left leg back. We'll shift forward and maybe lifting up. Working back through your vinyasa. On your next inhale, lift to the tiptoes, look forward, prepare to move. As you exhale, step, hop, float, top of the mat. Inhale, find your half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand, reach your arms tall. And exhale, hands come to your heart. Beautiful work. As you inhale, arms rise. As you exhale, fold forward. Inhale to a half lift. Once again, option for crow pose. Maybe you take a handstand hop or two, whatever suits your practice. We'll meet back in a down dog. As you find downward facing dog, take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Your next inhale, the right leg rises. As you exhale, bring your right knee to that left tricep. Shift forward. Maybe use that left arm as a shelf. Lift the left foot. Ekapada Kundinyasana A. You can keep the knee bent or extend the leg. Step that left foot back. Lift the hips. Three-legged down dog. And then bring that right knee to the left tricep one more time. Maybe you take the peace fingers on that left hand to that big toe on the right foot. Kick it out to the left. Maybe kick it a little bit forward. Let go. Land your foot. Step that left foot over the top. And then maybe bring that right knee towards the left knee. Hands to your heart. Maybe reaching the arms out to the sides. And then start to open up. Maybe you don't use the help of the hands this time. Half moon. Bend into that left knee. Step back. Find your warrior 2. Flip that front palm, reverse your warrior. And then windmill the hands down to frame that left foot. So we went through 2 rounds of chin stand last time. If it's in your practice and you want to play around with a variation, we could try bent knees chin stand. So floating that left leg back, shifting forward, and then maybe a little bit deeper bend to those knees. Finding your vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Your next inhale, that left leg rises. And then we'll bring that left knee towards the right triceps. And then if you want to, we can shift forward, take a push-up, maybe start to shift forward, lift your right leg, Ekapada A, maybe kicking that left foot out to the right, extending the leg. And then land your right foot. Step back, lift the hips, three-legged down dog. And then bring that left knee to your right tricep one more time. Maybe the peace fingers of that right hand grab the big toe on the left foot. Kick it out to the right. Maybe kick it a little bit forward. If you have it, let go. Land the foot. Step that right foot over the top. Bring that left knee towards the right knee. Maybe your prayer hands. Maybe you're reaching the arms out to the sides. We'll start to extend that left leg back. Maybe you don't use the help of the hands as we open up. Half moon. Bend into that right knee. Step your way back. Warrior 2. Flip your front palm. Tip up and back. Reverse your warrior. And then windmill the hands down to frame that right foot. So once again, option. You can go through another round of chin stand. You can go through another round of that bent knees chin stand variation. We'll float that right leg back. We'll shift forward. Take your variation. Working your way back to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Your next inhale, look forward, prepare yourself to move. As you exhale, step, hop, float, top of the mat. Inhale, find a half lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, rise to stand, reach your arms tall. And exhale, hands come to your heart. Maybe taking this moment to grab some water. Towel off for a second. I know I'm sweating. So we're going to go through one more standing sequence. We're going to put 2 of those arm balances together, and then we'll start to take it down a couple notches. So, as you feel wrapped up, grabbing your water, we'll get going. Finding the top of your mat. As you inhale, arms rise. As you exhale, fold forward. Inhale to a half lift. You can make it back to downward facing dog however you would like to. Whether that's through crow pose, or handstand hops, or maybe, if you want to try a different variation of crow pose, maybe just try looking back between the arms. On camera. And then find your vinyasa. As you find your downward facing dog, we'll take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. On your next inhale, the right leg rises. This time we'll bend the knee. We'll open up that hip, stacking right hip over left. And then maybe, if you would like to, flipping your dog, wild thing, reaching the right arm forward. Making this a side bend or a back bend, whichever suits you. And if you flipped over, maybe flipping back without the use of that right hand, bringing that right foot to the top of the mat. And then land your left heel, windmill up. Warrior 2. Inhale, flip your front palm, reverse your warrior, maybe taking a half bind here. And then shifting forward, finding extended side angle. So elbow to thigh, maybe reaching down towards the ankle. If it would feel good to you, maybe taking a full bind. Wherever you are, just making sure you can stack the left shoulder over the right shoulder. And then if you have the full bind, you can keep it as we extend that right leg. Just be nice and careful on those right hamstrings. If you have the full bind, just gently release it. We'll take a bend into that right knee. We'll tip up and back, reversing the warrior. And then windmilling the hands down inside that right foot. We'll come to the ball mound of the left foot and lower that back knee. Untuck the toes. You can stay up on your hands here. You can lower down to elbows. If you have a block, maybe you're somewhere in between and you want to take your elbows to your block. Finding our lizard lunge here. Legs have done a ton of work today. Maybe start to wing that right knee out to the right a little bit more. Maybe you bring the right hand to the inside of the right thigh, pressing a little bit more, opening up the right shoulder over the left. And final option, we can bend into that left knee and reach back for that left foot with the right hand. Getting a nice quad stretch if we pull the heel towards our bottom a little bit more. Taking one more full breath if you have that foot. And then gently releasing it. We'll bring that right hand back forward inside the right foot. We'll come back up onto hands. We'll get rid of that block if it's there. So, option here. If you would like to play around with a transition from Ekapada Kundinyasana B to chin stand, we can play around with that. So, tucking those back toes, lifting that left knee, and we'll start to walk that right shoulder underneath the right leg. So making a C with that right thumb and index finger. Maybe you just start to play around, shifting forward. And you can always keep that right knee bent or extend that right leg as you find Ekapada B. And then lift that left leg, chin stand. And then find your vinyasa from there. Pedaling out. You're doing great. One more side. On your next inhale, left leg rises. Bend the knee, open the hip. If it would feel good, flip your dog, taking a wild thing, reaching the left fingertips forward. You can make this a side bend or a back bend. Little challenge here. If you look forward, can you bring your left foot to the top of the mat without using your left hand? And then landing your right heel, windmilling up, finding your warrior two. Flip your front palm, tip up and back, reverse your warrior. Maybe taking a half bind here. And then shifting forward. Maybe elbow to thigh. Maybe reaching towards that ankle. Maybe taking a full bind. Wherever you are, just making sure you can stack right shoulder over left. Reaching the crown of the head forward. Extended side angle. And staying in this position. If you have the full bind, you can keep it as we start to extend that left leg. Just be careful on those left hamstrings. Finding triangle pose. And then release the bind if you have it. We'll bend into that left knee. Up and back. Reverse your warrior. And then windmill the hands down inside that left foot. And then we'll lower that right knee and we'll untuck the toes. You can stay up on your hands. We can lower to the elbows. Maybe your elbows are on a block. You can start to wing that left knee out to the left. You can take the left hand to the inner left thigh, pressing out a little bit. And final option, if you would like to, you can bend into that right knee, reach back, catch a hold with that left hand, and maybe squeeze that right heel towards your bottom for a nice quad stretch. One more breath here. If you have the foot, gently start to release. Bringing that left hand back inside the left foot. Come back up to your hands, getting that block out of the way if you had it. Last option here, playing around with Ekapada B, transitioning to chin stand. So we'll start to tuck those back toes. We'll lift that back knee, and we can start to tuck that left shoulder underneath that left leg, making a C kind of like that with thumb and the index finger. And then you can keep that left knee bent, or you can extend it for more of a flying splits shape as we shift forward. Ekapada B. Lift that back heel. And find your vinyasa. Those are hard poses to talk through. Pedaling out the heels one at a time. And then bringing the big toes to touch. We'll spread the knees out wide. We'll find a child's pose. Hips back towards the heels. Gently rocking the forehead side to side in your child's pose. And then we'll walk the hands in. We'll sit up tall on our heels. And we'll just take a little bit of a wrist stretch to start our cool down. We'll take the arms out to the sides of the room, palms facing up. We'll make fists. We'll curl those fists in towards the wrists. And then bend the elbows so you can bring those fists to your shoulders. Keep that curl of the wrists and start to extend the arms out to the sides. Nice and slow and gentle. And then release. Start to lower your arms. Grip, release, grip, release. Just gently roll the wrists. So we'll continue in kind of the position that we started class. So we're going to bring the hands out in front of us. Kind of a wide-kneed, awkward table position. And we'll start to lift that right knee off the ground. And we'll kick that right foot out to the right. So your right foot sort of looks like you're in a warrior two. But we're going to move into a half child's pose. So from here, we'll start to sink the hips back towards that left heel. If the right toes go up towards the ceiling, so be it. We can start to melt the chest towards the mat. Maybe your forehead reaches the mat, maybe it doesn't. Just finding the length in your spine, tailbone up to the crown of your head. And then we'll start to tip towards that left hip, sliding that right heel in, walking the hands in, coming nice and tall, and then bringing that right foot over top of the left thigh. So crossing legs here. We'll give that right leg a squeeze in towards our chest. Sit up nice and tall. And then keep a hold of that right leg. We'll reach behind us with the right fingertips, finding a twist. You can always deepen this by lifting the left arm, bringing the left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. Just don't crank on your spine. If you would like to, you can take the full bind from here, internally rotating both arms, wrapping that left arm underneath the right leg. Hands meet by your left hip. If you are in the bind, gently release. Unwind, come back forward. Allow that right hand to lift the right foot, extend it back out to the right, and then shift forward. Plant into those palms. Bring the right big toe back to the left big toe. And then we'll just switch sides. So, lifting your left knee, extending that left leg out to the left, as if you were making a warrior two foot with that left foot. And then start to sink the hips back towards that right heel. Find your half child's pose on this side. melting your chest. Maybe the forehead comes to the mat. Finding that length from your tailbone all the way up to the crown of your head. And then keeping the shape of the legs, we'll start to tip towards the right hip. Start to slide that left heel in. Walk the hands back in, come back up nice and tall. And then we'll start to wrap that left foot over top of the right thigh. Sitting up nice and tall, we'll squeeze that left thigh in towards the chest. And then keeping a hold of that left thigh, reach the left fingertips back behind you, sitting up nice and tall in this twist. You can deepen this by raising your right arm. Bring the right elbow to the outside of the left thigh. You can stay here. If you want to play around with that full bind, we can internally rotate both arms, wrap that right arm underneath the left leg. Hands can meet by your right hip. Wherever you are, just sitting up nice and tall in this twist. Plugging both sit bones towards the ground as best you can. And if you have the bind, just gently start to release it. Unwind. Use your left hand to extend that left foot out to the left. And then we're going to switch it up. So we're going to bring that right foot forward. And we're going to slide that left foot next to the right. Find your sit bones here. Wiggle out the legs. Sit up nice and tall. And then reach the arms. And then leading with the forehead, reaching towards the front of the room. Start to tip forward. Hands can land next to your knees, next to your shins, finding Paschimottanasana, whatever suits your body here. Point here is not to reach your toes, it is to find length in your back body. So finding the depth that suits you. One more exhale here. As you inhale, start to walk the hands back in. And then we'll make our way all the way down to our backs. And we'll slide the heels in so that they are underneath the knees, about hip width distance apart. We'll set up for one round of back bends. So if you know what you would like to do, go for it. I'll walk us through a bridge pose, squeezing the shoulder blades towards one another, broadening your collarbones, and then starting to press into the floor with those heels, lifting the hips. You can always stay here. If you'd like to deepen this, we can walk the hands towards one another, meeting beneath the hips, squeezing those shoulder blades maybe a little bit closer together. Maybe bringing the sternum a tad closer towards your chin. And if wheel is in your practice, you can go for it. Bringing the hands in to frame the ears, fingertips facing the shoulders, elbows pointing straight up. Whatever you've chosen, 3 more breaths. If the hands met underneath you, start to detach. Start to hinge at your hips. Bring the spine back to the floor, one vertebrae at a time. And then we'll bring the soles of the feet to touch. Butterfly shape of the legs while we're on our backs here. So Supta Baddha Konasana. You can bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. And just allowing gravity to take over here. And from here, we'll bring the knees back towards one another. And then we'll pull the knees in towards the chest, giving ourselves a big squeeze, big hug. And then spreading the arms out to the shape of a T. The next exhale, we'll let those knees fall to the left. Maybe looking over that right shoulder. Just really letting go here. One more exhale on this side. As you inhale, we'll bring the knees back to center. Following exhale takes your knees to the right. Maybe looking over that left shoulder. And taking one more exhale on this side. As you inhale, we'll roll back to center. And from here, whatever final resting pose you would like to take, whether that's traditional Shavasana or legs up the wall Shavasana, whatever you would like at this point, you are open to be taking it. This video will finish up. I thank you so much for joining me today in this practice. And from my heart to yours, namaste.